Our selection for today is Motherless Child. I'm like a motherless child in a peculiar tumult, rejected by close relatives who say I'm in the cult. Cause I say Yeshua's my savior and Yahweh's the creator. They notice my mistakes, forsaking the change in my behavior. Another day in the life of a slave, yet being led by the Spirit shall keep us guided through this maze. And there we sat by the rivers of Babylon, and there we wept when we remembered our home and those that carried us away. With some nerve required of us a song. How shall we sing Yahweh's song in a land not our own? It makes me wanna holler the way they do my life. I roar like a lion, but still feel like a motherless child, a long way from Zion.
It's a long way from home. Oh, long way from home. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. You know, sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. You know, sometimes I get down on my knees and pray. You know, sometimes I get down on my knees and pray. It's a long way from home. A long way from home. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. You know, sometimes I feel like a motherless child. You know, sometimes I feel like a motherless child. It's a long way from home. A long way from home.
The oracles of the UCI, 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as become saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you up on earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right. Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat Shalom.
which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us. As we, of course, sit here, we know that the majority of the world just got through celebrating a false birthday, a false holiday. But when you, of course, try to speak to those individuals about that, you find that you end up breaking that peace that's there, which gives you the understanding that there's several levels of peace. There's a peace that exists between two individuals as long as the truth is not spoken on a certain level. The more truth you speak to certain individuals, the less peace you are going to have with those individuals. And that is not just limited to people outside the word. You mess around and say too much truth to people inside the word, and you will break the peace between them as well, because they no longer have peace with you, because those are too many things that they are having to deal with. See, when you start talking to individuals about their Christmas and they don't want to hear it, then you will be accused as the negative individual who is breaking the peace. And you're breaking that peace by telling that truth. That truth ends up causing an issue. And this is something that we're just going to have to get accustomed to, because the more truth you tell, the more peace you're going to disrupt. So if you are one of those people that want to have false peace or the resemblance or the look of peace, you're going to have some problems in this word, because Yahweh is going to move you to say some things that is going to disrupt peace. Why? Because it's truth, and truth does that. But didn't Yahshua tell us that? I didn't come to send peace, but a sword. A sword divides. So when you bring the sword of truth, get ready for some broken peace. So you look at situations and it look like it's all peaceful. That's because everybody has agreed to a lie. It's not real peace. It's false peace. And if that's what we're seeking for, you can get it. It's just a lake of fires at the end of that road, though. But you can get that false peace if that's what you want. Because sooner or later, you're going to have to deal with the sword of Yahshua. So you can deal with that now, or you can deal with it later on when everybody else deals with it. And then, and if that's what we do, then we lake of fire bound. So we either going to deal with real truth and allow it to disrupt the peace now so that we can have real peace later, or we can go ahead and walk in that false peace until Yahshua show up, and then we're going to be into some serious issues. Let's begin today's sermon in Leviticus chapter 3.
Leviticus chapter 3 and verse 1. And if his oblation be a sacrifice of peace offering, if he offer it of the herd, whether it be a male or a female, he shall offer it without blemish before Yah.
Right. If it's going to be a peace offering, if you are trying to offer an offering in peace, if it has any ill-favoredness in it, it cannot be accepted. You can't even restore peace with anything that has a blemish in it. That's physically with the offering, and that's also spiritually when we try to make peace here on earth in any other situations that we deal in. If there's a blemish in it, you have already caused a problem with the peace right there. Go ahead.
And he shall lay his hand upon the head of his offering and kill it at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron's sons the priest shall sprinkle the blood upon the altar round about. He shall offer of the sacrifice of the peace offering an offering made by fire unto Yah. The fat that covers the inwards and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver, with the kidneys, it shall he take away. And Aaron's son shall burn it on the altar upon the burnt sacrifice, which is upon the wood that is on the fire. It is an offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto Yah. And if his offering for a sacrifice of peace offerings unto Yah be of the flock, male or female, he shall offer it without blemish.
He is very, very adamant about letting the people know that this thing must be without blemish. See? And we can see in our own day-to-day walk when something is blemished in our own dealings. We say, yeah, will you do such and such? Yeah, I'll do it. It was already a blemish answer. You can hear the blemish in how the response was. And who gonna accept that? Yahweh said he's not gonna accept it. And if we allow people to keep doing things like that, they're gonna approach unto Yahweh with that blemished peace offering and die where they stand. Go ahead.
If he offer a lamb for his offering, then shall he offer it before Yah. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of his offering, and kill it before the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron's sons shall sprinkle the blood thereof round about upon the altar. And he shall offer of the sacrifice of the peace offering an offering made by fire unto Yah. The fat thereof and the whole rump, it shall he take off hard by the backbone, and the fat that covereth the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver, with the kidney, it shall he take away. And the priest shall burn it upon the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire unto Yah. And if his offering be a goat, then he shall offer it before Yah. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of it, and kill it before the tabernacle of the congregation. And the sons of Aaron shall sprinkle the blood thereof upon the altar round about.
Right. So this is why we have strict instructions about blood. You shall not eat with the blood. The life of the animal is in the blood. It takes the blood being sprinkled to make an atonement for sin. So these are things that you cannot possibly partake of. This is not just about some physical thing about, man, this is nasty for you to, eat with the blood. You have now stepped on spiritual holy things without even having any clue that that's what you're doing. That blood has a purpose. You can't just eat that. Go ahead.
And he shall offer thereof his offering, even an offering made by fire unto Yah, the fat that covers the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver, with the kidneys, it shall he take away. And the priest shall burn them upon the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire for a sweet savor. All the fat is Yah's. It shall be a perpetual statute for your generations throughout all your dwellings, that you eat neither fat nor blood.
All right, let's go to chapter 5, Leviticus chapter 5. Let's start that at verse 1.
And if a soul sin, and hear the voice of swearing, and is a witness, whether he has seen or known of it, if he do not utter it, then he shall bear his lawlessness.
So once again, now in dealing with things in righteousness, once the person hears a situation that was not dealt with correctly, if that person doesn't deal with it, now they're in lawlessness. This is completely opposite from what we hear in the street. See, we say if we ain't do it, I stay out of grown folk business. Yahweh said, if this business is happening in Israel, if you allow it to happen, it then defiles the rest of the land, and it's going to make it to your house anyway. Go ahead.
Or if a soul touch any unclean thing, whether it be a carcass of an unclean beast, or a carcass of unclean cattle, or the carcass of unclean creeping things, and if it be hidden from him, he also shall be unclean and guilty. or if he touch the uncleanness of man, whatsoever uncleanness it be that a man shall be defiled withal, and it be hid from him, when he knows of it, then he shall be guilty. Or if a soul swear, pronouncing with his lips to do evil or to do good, whatsoever it be that a man shall pronounce with an oath, and it be hid from him, when he knows of it, then he shall be guilty in one of these. And it shall be, when he shall be guilty in one of these things, that he shall confess that he has sinned in that thing.
Right. Do we ever do that? Do we ever go to Yahweh and say, I have come short of what I was supposed to do, of what has been expected unto me? Now, nevertheless, we have the hardest time, of course, coming to our brothers and sisters and doing that. But do we ever even do it to Yahweh? Because you know you ain't telling him something he don't know, right? Go ahead.
And he shall bring his trespass offering unto Yahweh for his sin which he has sinned, a female from the flock, a lamb or a kid of the goats, for a sin offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for him concerning his sin. And if he be not able to bring a lamb, then he shall bring for his trespass which he has committed 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons unto Yahweh, one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering. And he shall bring them unto the priest, who shall offer that which is for the sin offering first, and wring off his head from his neck, but shall not divide it asunder.
Now you see, within this process, something has to die for us to be restored in life. And if we consider what that means, we wouldn't be so heartless about restoration. It's gotten to the point where we just expect it. Something had to die for that. And at the end of all these animals comes Yahshua. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And he shall sprinkle of the blood of the sin offering upon the side of the altar, and the rest of the blood shall be wrung out at the bottom of the altar. It is a sin offering. And he shall offer the second for a burnt offering according to the manner. And the priest shall make an atonement for him for his sin which he has sinned, and it shall be forgiven him. But if he be not able to bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, then he that sinned shall bring for his offering the 10th part of an ephah of fine flour for a sin offering. He shall put no oil upon it, neither shall he put any frankincense thereon, for it is a sin offering. Then shall he bring it to the priest, and the priest shall take his handful of it, even a memorial thereof, and burn it on the altar according to the offerings made by fire unto Yah. It is a sin offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for him as touching his sin, that he has sinned in one of these, and it shall be forgiven him. And the remnant shall be the priest as a meat offering. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, If a soul commit a trespass and sin through ignorance in the holy things of Yah, then he shall bring for his trespass unto Yah a ram without blemish out of the flocks, with your estimation by shekels of silver, after the shekel of the sanctuary for a trespass offering.
It says, if a soul commit a trespass and sin through ignorance. I was in the process of looking at some other things and just came across, and you know how you read stuff and you forget about it for a while and you go back. The part where it ends up going into the linen breeches that the priest was supposed to wear. This is where we get boxer drawers from. It said it's supposed to go from his waist to his leg, that his nakedness does not show while he is doing the work of Yahweh, and if it does, he dies. So you showing the wrong parts of your body, and then the angel of Yahweh slay you. So when we push our dress code, you have people that have an issue at the door. Now what happened if the angel show up and just kill you right there on spot because you showing too much of this and that? And people get offended when you say that. How you gonna say something about me about my clothing? I tell you what, if the angel say something, you die. So they was commanded. Understand how many layers of clothing the priest had on. Don't Understand, he's already got a garment that comes down to the foot. He's got layers on. Yahweh said, put another layer on. Make sure you got on the right underdrawers. Least you come near me and I kill you. That's the wording. If they come near me, Moshe, tell your brother, if they come near me and they don't have this stuff on, I'm going to kill them. So then when we stop somebody about their dress code, folks got an attitude problem. But an angel will take care of that attitude problem. All it's going to take for us to have to carry one person out of here. Everybody else going to be dressed all the way up to here. They ain't going to be able to move no more. What'd you say, brother? Yes. Okay. What happened? All we're going to have to do, carry one out of here. That's going to take care of that business. Go ahead.
Verse 16. And he shall make amends for the harm that he has done in the holy thing, and shall add the fifth part thereto, and give it on to the priest.
Can you even make amends for something when you think the people owe you amends? They done upset me by saying something to me. So by saying something to them, now they think that they are the one that's owed something. Now that's deep right there. How you gonna make amends and you think amends need to be made to you? Because they have upset me by saying something to me. Read, bro.
And the priest shall make an atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering, and it shall be forgiven him. And if a soul sin and commit any of these things which are forbidden to be done by the commandments of Yah, though he knew it not, yet is he guilty, and shall bear his lawlessness. And he shall bring a ram without blemish out of the flock, with your estimation, for a trespass offering unto the priest. And the priest shall make an atonement for him concerning his ignorance wherein he erred, and knew it not, and it shall be forgiven him. It is a trespass offering. He has certainly trespassed against Yah.
Right, and then we have that, it says, and knew it not, but there's a whole lot of things, of course, as we deal in this word that we do know. And there's none of us that's not going to have some situations where we fall short. But Yahweh has provided a path to restoration. And if we continuously ignore that path, it doesn't even make any sense for us to even try to walk. Why are you here? Why are you even trying to walk in the word? If there's not going to be any attempt at restoration, stop walking. He has a path. He has a path that is set. Okay, it's not like any of us are going to have a situation where we're going to be 100% perfect without fail. So there's a path to restoration. It doesn't make sense whenever a business makes a vehicle, they automatically figure out how to repair that vehicle. They got an owner's manual for that. When this happened, do this. When this happened over here, do this right here. There's automatically a path. But then you find those that get the manual and say, you know what? I don't want to drain the oil like that. I'm just going to drill a hole in the pan. Okay. All right. Go right ahead. Go ahead and drill that hole in that pan. Go ahead. Go ahead. We're going to see that tow truck carrying that car here in a couple of days after you drill that hole in that pan. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and they said, though he knew it now, how does he end up knowing? Somebody brings it to your attention.
Right.
And that's the thing, is that, are we beyond correction? Because at the end of the day, you're new in the walk. You do something, you didn't know it, somebody bring it to your attention, it's so you can fix it, not for you to get offended. We ourselves, who've been walking for quite some time, we get in this book and realize, uh-oh. And what we do, we get together and say, hey,
right,
we need to fix this.
Right. But see, Jake won't be corrected. Israel is going to be corrected. That's how you find out who Israel is and who Jake is. Jake will not be corrected. That ain't got nothing to do with being new in the word. People been in the word years, and they know what it is. They just will not be corrected. Or we have that respect of persons. I ain't going to be corrected by nobody but Yahweh himself. Good luck on that one. Go ahead. That was it. Read the definition on the next graphic here.
Shalom from H7965. from H799, safe, that is, figuratively, well, happy, friendly, also abstractly, welfare, that is, health, prosperity, peace.
Now, we offer one another this when we greet, but if we get to the point of going through the path of restoration, and now an individual is absolutely upset with you because you brought something to them, how can they actually offer you shalom? We got peace offerings. How can they offer you an offering of peace, but they got indignation that you've said something to them to bring to them some situations? Keep reading.
Do, familiar, fair, favor, friend, greet, good, health, perfect, such as be at peace.
Be at peace. Now, all of this is included as we offer one another shalom. All right? So understand that. Go ahead.
Such as be at peace, peaceable, peaceably, prosper, prosperity, prosperous, rest, safe, safely, salute, welfare. All is, be well, holy.
All right. Read the definition on the next graphic for me. Just read. Next graphic should be exit. Yeah.
20 and 24. An altar of earth you shall make unto me, and shall sacrifice thereon your burnt offerings and your peace offerings, your sheep and your oxen. In all places where I record my name, I will come unto you, and I will bless you.
So when we deal with a natural part of these peace offerings, it had to be unblemished to be accepted on the altar. Go to the next graphic. This is the definition of peace. So we went through shalom, but then we go down and we get the parts that break down into that. Keep going.
Peace from H002.
8002.
8002. Shalom from H799. Properly requital, that is a voluntary sacrifice and thanks, peace offerings.
Okay. Now let's go to the next definition here. This should be graphic number 8.
From H799, shalom.
Right, and you know, a lot of times when you're going through things on Facebook, you have a lot of people that say shalom, but then they're spelling it different ways. See, you break down and you end up going into those root words of where those things end up coming from. All right, so go into this root here.
A primitive root, to be safe in mind, body, or estate. Figuratively, to be causatively made completed. By implication, to be friendly. By extension, to reciprocate in various applications. Make amends.
Once again, we now make amends. When you deal with this peace offering, you're back into a situation of restoration of what was there. Go ahead.
Make an end. Finish. Full. Give again. Make good. Repay. Again. Make. To be at peace. Peaceable. That is perfect. Perform. Make prosper or prosperous. Recompense. Render. Requite. Make restitution.
Make restitution. Go ahead.
Restore.
Make restitution and restore. Go ahead.
Reward. Surely.
Right. You know, you find that sometimes the words that we use the most are the ones that we don't understand. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 54. Because, you know, the things that you use frequently, you really don't have any desire to go and try to define those because you think you already know what it is. So why would you go and define something that you already believe you know what it means? Go ahead.
You know, in the first definition there of 7965, it says friendly. What the scripture says, if you want to have friends, you should show yourself as being friendly.
But you know what's interesting? People will violate that and don't know that they have sinned. They still don't think they've done anything wrong because they don't understand the meaning of the words. And these are not uneducated individuals. This is just we get to a point, well, we ain't going to receive that. But Yahweh knows that he has presented it. So whether or not you deal with it or not doesn't hold you guiltless. Go ahead.
It says chapter 54 and verse 1. Sing, O barren, you that did not bear. Break forth into singing and cry aloud, you that did not travail with child. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, says Yahweh. Enlarge the place of your tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of your habitations. Spare not, lengthen your cords, and strengthen your stakes. For you shall break forth on the right hand and on the left, and your seed shall inherit the Gentiles, and make the desolate cities to be inhabited.
Right, and these are the things that the nations don't want us to deal with. They don't want us to read. They don't want us to put those things forth for other people to hear them, because dealing with this part of the truth disrupts their peace. See, they have gotten peace because they have acquired a lot of things through whatever means they have acquired them. And talking about those things being restored in the rightful place or being placed in the hands of individuals who are going to use them righteously, disrupts their peace. And they don't want to hear that stuff that you're saying because you are disrupting their peace by talking about things done righteously and in equity. See, what the nations want to do is allow all of the resources to stay within the hands of a select few individuals. And if anybody tries to disrupt that, you're disrupting their peace. But their peace causes the rest of the world to live in poverty. And they're completely fine with that. See, there's some people that is fine. As long as everything going right at their house, they really don't care about what it is you got to go through for them to operate in peace. See, there's something wrong with that peace. See, the peace that Yahweh and Yahshua offers gives an opportunity for all lands to live in peace. The peace that man offers only allows them and their loved ones and friends to walk in peace. Go ahead.
Verse 4, fear not, for you shall not be ashamed, neither be you confounded, for you shall not be put to shame. For you shall forget the shame of your youth, and shall not remember the reproach your widowhood, or the reproach of your widowhood anymore. For your maker is your husband. Yahweh of hosts is his name.
Right. This is why Yahweh placed a situation here on the earth. Your maker is your husband. The woman was brought forth out of the man. Yahweh is dealing with a whole order there that we don't even completely understand. That's because we don't want to understand it. Go ahead.
And your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, the El of the whole earth, shall he be called. For Yahweh has called you as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth, when you was refused, saith your El. For a small moment have I forsaken you, but with great mercies will I gather you.
Check that out. For a small moment have I forsaken you. So he says, your maker is your husband. For a small moment, I have forsaken you. Why? So I can get true peace in my house. He could have just act like he didn't see the sins of Israel. And then he would have had perceived peace. He could act like he didn't see it. He could have perceived peace. But to have real peace, he had to forsake his wife for a moment. Why? So she can see the error of her ways. Otherwise, the peace ain't real. Go ahead.
In a little wrath I hid my face from you.
In a little wrath. Because I got to deal with this situation. And Yahweh's going to hold every last one of us accountable to deal with the situations that have been presented to us. Go ahead.
But with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on you, says Yahweh, your Redeemer.
So the goal was never to destroy his wife. The goal was to restore true peace. But to do that, you got to pull something down sometime. You realize that the thing is built wrong. You just can't keep putting another level on it. And you on level 17 and you see it leaning to the side. Hey, man, that thing ain't going to stand up like that. You're going to have to knock that whole foundation down and rebuild it. But is it us that just don't want to do the work? Go ahead.
For this is as the waters of Noah unto me. For as I have sworn that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth, so have I sworn that I would not be angry with you, nor rebuke you.
So, in other words, what he's talking about, he automatically says this right after this other part, right? So, the waters of Noah, directly after he's talking about in a little raft, he started everything over. To restore true peace, he had to kill off everything. Are we about that life? Are we just Hebrews in outfits? Go ahead, bro.
For the mountains shall depart, and the hills be removed. But my kindness shall not depart from you, neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed.
Right.
Says Yahweh that has mercy on you.
Right. It's not going to. I'm going to make sure the covenant go forth. I'm going to make sure I keep the covenant of peace, even if I got to disrupt the peace to do it. I'm going to make sure I keep it. I'm going to make sure you keep it. I'm going to make sure that we end up in the covenant of peace, but I'm going to take care of this business in the meantime. That's how you make sure that that's being taken care of. Yahweh gives us perfect examples. Go ahead.
O you afflicted, tossed with tempest, and not comforted. Behold, I will lay your stones with fair colors, and lay your foundations with sapphires. And I'll make your windows of agates, and your gates of carbuncles, and all your borders of pleasant stones. And all your children shall be taught of Yah, and great shall be the peace of your children. In righteousness shall you establish, in righteousness shall you be established. You shall be far from oppression, for you shall not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near you. Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against you shall fall for your sake.
Whoever shall gather, this is why he said, you don't worry about all those other things. You take care of the business of Yahweh, and Yahweh gonna make sure that everything that is planned against you is going to fall. Then you ain't got to be running around like a Jack Russell trying to figure out where everybody at, what all they doing. Yahweh gonna drop that right at your feet. You ain't went nowhere, you ain't went looking, you ain't do nothing. Bam, it dropped right at your foot. Go ahead.
Behold, I have created the smith that blows the coals in the fire, and that brings forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy.
Right. All of this is Yahweh's creation, and they have a purpose. You have to let things fulfill the purpose in which they were created. Go ahead.
You know, in verse 16, we've always got this thing where people are talking about, well, it says not to kindle the fire on the Sabbath. And this is what he's talking about right here.
Right.
In verse 16. He's kindling the coals so he can make instruments to do work.
Right. The fire is for the fuel to do something else. Man, we bake a fresh bread on the Sabbath, and it's the priest's job to do it. Yeah, you got a whole group of Hebrews that eat nothing but cold cuts on the Sabbath day. They refuse to eat anything warmed because they don't understand the law of Yahweh. He's talking about work. Now, what we're supposed to do on the preparation day, it says prepare that what you will prepare, so that you're not going through a whole bunch of labor on that Sabbath, but you still gotta eat. And if we get to the point that regular eating is working, I mean, you know, you work in a cafeteria, this your house. If a stay-at-home mom look at feeding her children as labor, she got the wrong job. She got the wrong job. Go ahead.
No weapon that is formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against you in judgment you shall condemn.
You shall condemn. Every tongue that rises against you in judgment, you shall condemn. And Yahweh gonna drop it all at your feet. Go ahead.
This is the heritage of the servants of Yah, and their righteousness is of me, says Yahweh.
All right. Let's go to Matthew chapter 23. Did we skip that?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 17. Appreciate that, brother. Deuteronomy chapter 17, and let's read verses 1 through 13.
Verse 1. You shall not sacrifice unto Yahweh your El any bullock or sheep wherein is blemish or any ill-favoredness, for that is an abomination unto Yahweh your El.
So the offering that is blemished is now an abomination unto Yahweh. You got to sit there and deal with that for a second. You have things that are an abomination. Now, an offering made to make amends for something that is not offered in the correct manner is now an abomination. So in other words, you're in a worse situation than you were before. You are offering something to attempt to make amends, and now you have offered an abomination. Now, your one issue just turned into two. Go ahead.
I mean, the first step of your peace offering is how you accept the thing that's brought to you, your error. We look at Dawid. When Nathan put forth the riddle, and he said, you this man, Dawid say, okay, I've sinned.
We don't see the glory in that, though. Because we see, okay, somebody has presented it to him, and now he accepted it. Brother, you learn by dealing with Jake. You present Jake with something, it's 7-8 months later before Jake deal with that. And he dealt with it like this. We don't see any glory in that. We don't see any righteousness in that. That he accepted it, that it was he that had done this thing. I hear people talking trash and Dawid left and right. And they don't get that part. That when it's brought to him, and we're talking about a king. You're not talking about, you can't get any higher in Israel. Okay? We ain't talking about the dude who swept the floor, who accepted some stuff. We're talking about the highest man in the land accepted somebody coming to him and said, you've done wrong. You get no higher than a king. He's not just a king. He's a king who they have told prophecies about that he shall bring forth the Messiah who's going to be King of Kings. Man, you know how hard it is to go and tell that dude that he did something wrong? And this is Nathan. He got to go and talk to this dude. Go tell him such and such. See, this is where you got to figure out, are you about that life for the job that Yahweh has given you? Because he got to go to this man. Understand now, he know for a fact that he's a soldier, he's a warrior, he's a king, and he's a killer. He is killed on more than one occasion. This is the dude he got to go talk to. No sweat. We're serving the Yahweh. Let's go. Clock in. Chick. Come on. What the time clock at? And then he had to even fix his own words. Because 1 minute he said, Yahweh will do all that you have said because he has done all this. Yahweh spoke to him. Hey, man, look, I got to correct that thing. I had told you, what I had told you was you were going to build a house. Yet, you know what? Yahweh spoke to me yesterday night. Look here, you're not going to build that house. But he is elated that you thought about building a house, so he going to let your son build a house. You have shed too much blood. You can't build a house. Corrected itself, just like that. Yahweh comes in, correct, change, move on. No sweat. No sweat for servants. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say, that add to that, that's another way how Yahweh shows his mercy. If somebody comes to you and says something to you about what that you're doing something wrong, but that's another way that Yahweh can come to you and show you that, okay, by that person, what you're hearing, now correct that wrong that you just heard that you did.
Right. But you know what? That when we get to certain situations where we have respect to persons, we're only going to hear that from certain individuals. See, there's certain people that they ain't gonna hear from you or Kish. They got to hear it from me. And there's some people that ain't gonna hear from me. They don't listen to those either, because you can skip words. I've had people that read "thou shalt not steal" and say "they shall not steal." I said, that says "thou." I don't say "they." So every last one of those commandments are going to somebody else. They shall not steal. They shall not bear false witness. They shall not. No, that says "thou." That's you. Each one of those is personal. When you read that, you. It's not they. Them. That's you. So it's supposed to be personal as you're going through it. And you're right, brother. It's an opportunity for Yahweh to show his mercy, because you got to consider something. How many other heathens that have been doing wrong that Yahweh never went to them and tried to stop them? And their sins are just mounting. Yahweh don't sit into it. He see him right over there sinning. Look at that, he about to kill that whole group over there. That boy, God almighty. Ain't going nobody's business. What you think they're going to have to deal with come judgment? He didn't send nobody to them. We don't even recognize the mercy of Yahweh. We cast his mercy to our feet and step on it. Don't send me nobody else. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 17 and verse 2. If there be found any among you, within any of your gates which Yahweh your El gives you, man or woman, that has wrought wickedness in the sight of Yahweh your El, in transgressing his covenant, and has gone and served other gods, and worshipped them, either the sun or moon, or any of the host of heaven, which I have not commanded, and it be told you, and you have heard of it, and inquired diligently, and behold, it be true.
Now, you've done this research, because it was told to you. Yahweh has now laid this on your charge. When it came and made its way to you, it became your responsibility. People are like, well, no, that's not my job. That's for somebody else. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't want to deal with none of that. No. And it be told you, and you have heard of it, and inquired diligently. So once you've heard of it, it's now your job to research it, because Yahweh brought it to you for a reason. This is where we don't consider that there's multiple people being judged in the situation, and not just the individual who has done something. Yahweh is also testing to see if the people who heard of it, let's see if you're going to do your job. See? Go ahead.
And that's what a lot of us don't consider when we get that phone call saying, child so-and-so, or so. Hey, keep me out of this. Do not call me with no mess, because that's what's happening. You're becoming chargeable. Where are you going to stand when this phone call comes through or somebody pulls you aside to bend your ear?
No, I ain't saying. Hold on. I got their number. Let's get them on the line. Do. Hey, I got what your name, and what your name about to do what you say. We about to do this thing. Here we go. About to click it. Click it. All right. Look here. Party line going. Now go ahead and say that stuff you were saying to me again. No, because this way we get to take care of the schism right away. Let's go ahead and have these feelings. Let's go ahead and get this out, because otherwise it's going to drag out for months. Why? Because we talking in secret. See? We go find other people to go talk to. See? We go find other people that we think, I think I know somebody that don't like Kish. Let me go find me a Kish hater. Let me tell you, that old raggedy Kish. Right. See, now we trying to build up on it. Now it's getting worse and worse and worse. Whereas if it was dealt with before all the salt and pepper got sprinkled in it, it wouldn't have been that way. Go ahead.
And the thing certain that such abomination is wrought in Israel, then shall you bring forth that man or that woman, which have committed that wicked thing, onto your gates, even that man or that woman, and shall stone them with stones till they die. At the mouth of 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses.
Right, but people feel like you're jumping on them and you give them 2 or 3 witnesses. That's what still said in the book. But see, we don't watch too many Matlock programs. We think that we got some different stuff going on in here. You need to read the book.
See, in Matlock, they got to pick the jurors. See, they got to,
What the hell you watching? What you reading? Read, man.
Shall he that is worthy of death be put to death? But at the mouth of one witness he shall not be put to death. The hands of the witnesses shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterward the hands of all the people, so that you shall put the evil away from among you.
Right, but Israel's scared to do that. Israel's scared to render righteous judgment. We don't want to have no part in it. We want to let righteous judgment be somebody else's job. That's what we want to do. And it don't work like that. Go ahead.
If there arise a matter too hard for you in judgment, between blood and blood, between plea and plea, and between stroke and stroke, being matters of controversy within your gates, then shall you arise and get you up into the place which Yahweh your El shall choose. And you shall come unto the priest, the Levites.
If there be a matter too hard for you, then you go to the people in authority. That's why sometimes you sit back and let some people deal with some situations so you can see what you're working with. That's why you don't jump in right away and go and render judgment. No. Let's pause for a minute. Let's see how everybody deals in this situation. He says, if the matter be too hard, every last one of the matters ain't supposed to go to the priest. Go ahead.
And unto the judge that shall be in those days, and inquire, and they shall show you the sentence of judgment. And you shall do according to the sentence which they of that place which Yahweh shall choose shall show you. And you shall observe to do according to all that they inform you. According to the sentence of the law which they shall teach you, and according to the judgment which they shall tell you, you shall do. You shall not decline from the sentence which they shall show you, to the right hand, nor to the left. And the man that will do presumptuously, and will not hearken unto the priest that stands to minister there before Yahweh your El, or unto the judge, even that man shall die, and you shall put away the evil from Israel.
Right. Israel ain't got to die. If you don't want to hearken unto the priest or the people that preside over the place, just stop coming. What you coming for? If you don't respect their authority, don't go. You find people doing a whole lot of arguing about stuff, just don't go. Go ahead.
And all the people shall hear and fear and do no more presumptuously. When you are come unto the land, that was it.
All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 23. There's a whole lot of things that we end up finding harsh because we're dealing with our feelings. And we're going to understand that when Yahshua shows up, Yahshua not caring about any of our feelings. Matthew 23, and let's start that at verse 23.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matter of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith.
What did he start with? The weightier matters of the law was judgment. Starts with judgment. This is where the definition of hypocrisy is laid out. The things that have been omitted is judgment. Why? Because it's the most uncomfortable part. That is so uncomfortable to deal with righteous judgment. Because you got to look in somebody's eyes and say, this is what is taking place. This is what you're offering, but I know that that right there is not without evil favoredness. This has a blemish in it. That's why judgment is the first thing that's left off, because it's the difficult part. Go ahead.
These ought you to have done, and not to leave the other undone. You blind guides, which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you may clean the outside of the cup and of the platter.
Right. See, that's that presentation that we offer. The presentation that we offer publicly, but then there's the inner part that we have going in. Yahweh sees both. Go ahead.
But within they are full of extortion and excess. You blind Pharisee, Cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you are like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanness. Even so you also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within you are full of hypocrisy and lawlessness. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! Because you build the tombs of the prophets, and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous, and say, if we had been in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets.
Check that out. What you're reading is the situation where somebody does not have the ability to truly see themselves or their own heart. They say, if we had been in the days of our fathers, we would not have been the partakers with them in the blood of the prophets. Read.
Wherefore you be witness unto yourselves, that you are the children of them which killed the prophets.
You are the children of them which killed the prophets. But in their eyes, they would have not done any of those things. So what's happening there? How they see themselves is not how Yahweh sees them. Go ahead.
Fill you up then the measure of your fathers. You serpents, you generation of vipers, how can you escape the damnation of hell? Wherefore, behold, I send unto you prophets, and wise men, and scribes, and some of them you shall kill and crucify.
Right. They're going to kill and crucify because they're going to say things that those people don't want to hear. Go ahead.
And some of them shall you scourge in your synagogues, and persecute them from city to city.
Right. When that righteous truth is brought forth, then all of those people get persecuted. What did a man get his head chopped off for? For speaking the law. It's not lawful for you to have your brother's wife.
Oh, he need to die.
What did he say wrong? The law. But that law upset what somebody was doing. See? Go ahead.
That upon you may come all the righteous blood shed upon the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel unto the blood of Zacharias, son of Barachias, whom you slew between the temple and the altar. Verily I say unto you, all these things shall come upon this generation. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you that killeth the prophets, and stoneth them which are sent unto you.
Look at that. Now this is Israel now. Understand? Oh, Jerusalem. You that kill the prophets and stone them that are sent unto you. Like my brother was saying, it's Yahweh's mercy that he sends somebody to you to warn you about the way or the path that you're in. What does Israel do? Kill those servants. We either kill them with our mouth or we kill them with our hands. But one way, we slay them. And until we get it in our heads, Yahweh not coming down here to talk to you individually. He's going to send somebody. Do we then murder those individuals? Go ahead.
You know, when we pray, we often pray for forgiveness of the sins of our forefathers. In verse 35 here, it says, in your wrongdoings, that upon you may come all the righteous blood shed upon the earth. Do we understand how much weight is being put on us?
Nope.
Do you really want all of that on you?
Man, we can't even deal with the thing we did last week. Go ahead.
O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you that killeth the prophets, and stoneth them which are sent unto you. How often would I have gathered your children together, even as a hen gathers her chickens under her wings, and you would not. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. For I say unto you, you shall not see me henceforth, till you shall say, blessed is he that comes in the name of the Adonai.
All right, let's go to John chapter 14, Yohanan chapter 14, and we're going to read verses 15 through 31.
Yohanan chapter 14 and verse 15. If you love me, keep my commandments. And I'll pray the Father, and he shall give you another comforter, that he may abide with you forever. Even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it sees him not, neither knows him. But you know him, for he dwells with you and shall be in you.
All right, even the spirit of truth. The world cannot receive the spirit of truth. So when truth is brought to us and we decide that we're not going to receive that, are we now entertaining the flesh and the things of the world that causes us not to be able to receive the spirit of truth that's being presented unto us? Go ahead.
I will not leave you comfortless. I will come to you. Yet a little while, and the world sees me no more. But you see me, because I live, you shall live also. At that day you shall know that I am in my Father, and you in me, and I in you. He that has my commandments and keeps them, he it is that loves me. And he that loves me shall be loved of my Father. And I will love him, and will manifest myself to him.
Now, this is going to hurt some people's feelings right here. You have to examine verse 21. He that has my commandments and keeps them, he it is that loves me. Now, you got a whole lot of people that are walking around with a whole bunch of emotion talking about how much they love the Lord. They'll do a whole bunch of emotional singing. They'll do a whole bunch of things. They'll do all of it. They're not going to keep any of these commandments, though. But they do a whole bunch of shows and display of affection. It's not going to mean anything to Yeshua. Those public displays of affection mean nothing. Did you do what I asked you to do? Did you do what I told you to do? But then you don't love me. Go ahead.
Yehuda says unto him, not Iscariot, Adonai, how is it that you will manifest yourself unto us, and not unto the world? Yahshua answered and said unto him, if a man love me, he will keep my words, and my Father will love him, and we will come unto him, and make our abode with him. He that loves me not keeps not my sayings, and the word which you hear is not mine, but the Father's which sent me.
Right, but you got to understand, to Israel, Israel looks at the prophets and those, this is why they stoned them that are sent to them. Israel said, wait a minute, I ain't asked you for this information. Thus says Yahweh, you are heading down the path. Hold on, bro, I don't remember asking you about where I was headed. I don't remember asking you such and such. See, this is unasked for information to Israel. Now here it is. This is how we cast the mercy of Yahweh at our feet and step on it. The mercy of Yahweh brings something, but we said, I ain't asked you for that. Where you come from anyway? Go ahead.
These things have I spoken unto you, being yet present with you. But the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things and bring all things to your remembrance.
Your remembrance. That means you've heard or read it before. Then when you need it, he will bring it back. Go ahead.
Whatsoever I have said unto you, peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. Not as the world gives, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid.
Right, because see, the peace that the world gives you is only there for a temporary thing as long as you do what they want you to do. Then you get the peace of the world. But as soon as you don't do what they want, they take their peace back. Yahweh said, no. My peace is given by covenant. Covenants you just don't take back. You got to break those. Go ahead.
You have heard how I said unto you, I go away and come again unto you. If you loved me, you would rejoice, because I said, I go unto the Father, for my Father is greater than I. And now I have told you before it come to pass, that when it is come to pass, you might believe. Hereafter I will not talk much with you, for the prince of this world comes, and has nothing in me.
Wait a minute. I ain't going to talk much with you. And every time you turn around, somebody said they talked to him. They said they talk. They didn't just say that they talked to Yahshua. This is where it gets real fast. They say they talked to Yahweh. They done bypassed Yahshua, went directly to Yahweh, and Yahweh talking to them. He said, man, the prince of this world is on his way, so understand. Y'all not going to hear much from me. But I gave you instructions. I left some order. Go ahead.
But that the world may know that I love the Father, and as the Father gave me commandment, even so I do. Arise, let us go hence.
All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 10. Matthew chapter 10, and we're going to read verses 5 through 15.
Matthew chapter 10 and verse 5. These 12 Yahshua sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter you not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
And people find fault with that. See, he's dealing with Israel. He's dealing with the things in order. Go to Israel first. After this thing is presented unto Israel, then he will open it up unto the Euro Gentiles and then the rest of the world. Because understand, the Euro Gentiles is at a point where they are about conquering the world. So he don't need to take the word all over the world. Take it to the people who are about to conquer all over the world. Go to Israel first, then go to the Gentiles. They finna wage war all over the earth, and they gonna spread all of this all over the earth. So even though they doing their own thing, they still working for me. They just don't know it. Go ahead.
And as you go, preach, saying, The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely you have received, freely give. Provide neither gold, nor silver, nor brass in your purses, nor scrip for your journey, neither 2 coats, neither shoes, nor yet staves, for the workman is worthy of his meat. And into whatsoever city or town you shall enter, inquire who in it is worthy, and there abide till you go thence.
Now, consider that. And into whatsoever city or town you shall enter, inquire who in it is worthy, and there abide till you go thence. Go ahead.
And when you come into an house, salute it. And if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it not be worthy, let your peace return to you.
Right. You don't leave your peace with everybody. There's places where they're not going to receive your peace while you're leaving it there. Some people don't understand that's why they're being invited, so they can live off your peace. Go ahead.
And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, when you depart out of that house or city, shake off the dust off your feet. Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city.
All right, let's go to Romans chapter 9. There's a whole lot of people that end up getting accusations that they have disrupted the peace in their house because they wouldn't go and worship an abomination yesterday.
The whole family would have been just fine. All you had to do is show up and put on your Santa Claus hat like you have done every other year. But no, here you come with your little fancy reading.
Yeah. Romans chapter 12, let's read verses 9 through 21.
Verse 9. Let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil. Cleave to that which is good.
Now, how I'm going to abhor that which is evil, but I'm going to still go to the Christmas party with the Christmas hat on, but I'm just going to sit in the corner. So you there, but you just, well, I'm going to play Scrooge. Right. Go ahead.
Be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love, in honor preferring one another.
Understand, Yahshua is causing a division by having these things set in place. Abhor that which is evil and cleave to that which is good. Once I understand and I have come to a better understanding of what evil is, how am I going to cleave to that and abhor it? I can't do both of them. See? I can't say it's evil, but then I hang with it and kicks it. What that even sound like? What you doing, man? Well, I'm finna go out here, man. I'm finna hang out with evil. We're gonna go get a couple of drinks. You know what I'm saying? Go by a club or two, man. See what evil want to do. Oh, okay. You want to see what evil want to do? Yeah, man. I think evil want to go stop by and see some of his friends. Oh, so you gonna ride with evil to visit some of evil's friends? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna turn out good. Go ahead.
Not slothful in business.
Right. Being slothful in business is breaking the peace. Go ahead.
Fervent in spirit, serving the Adonai. Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer. Distributing to the necessity of the saints, given to hospitality.
Distributing to the necessity of the saints goes on several levels, especially when you have believers that are within the same house. This goes on a whole nother level. Go ahead.
You know, even with that distributing to the necessity of saints, you also need to be able to encourage the saints to go do their job and not hold them up.
Yeah, no doubt.
Bless them which persecute you, bless and curse not. Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep.
If you rejoice with them that do rejoice and weep with them that weep, that means you're able to feel somebody's pain other than your own. See, there's a selfish element amongst Israel that is so deep that they're not able to feel anything unless it happens in their house. Go ahead.
Be of the same mind one toward another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits. Recompense to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men.
Right. If you get to that point, it's time for you to separate ways. Read.
If it be possible, as much as lies in you, live peaceably with all men.
Right. But there comes a situation where you realize that the only way you're going to have peace with certain individuals is for them to go left and you to go right. And it's important that you recognize those situations. Because otherwise, you then ended up backing up to verse 17 where you are rendering evil for evil because you are in the midst of people who you cannot have peace with. There are some that will not allow you to have peace with them unless you do whatever they want you to do. And if that's the case, you got to go one way and they got to go the other. This is exactly how Yahweh separated Abraham and Lot. All right, we're having too much contention here. But even everything is being made with Abraham. Abraham still gave the choice. All right, since I want to be the peaceable person, you got to land to the left, got to land to the right. Whichever one you pick, I go the other way. That was awfully generous. Because he ain't got no business being here. Okay? And Yahweh could have made that turn out real horrible for Abram for doing that. He ain't supposed to be here. The covenant is I'm making with you. But hey, he picked one way, he went the other way. But that's how you do when Yahweh, when you have the favor of Yahweh, he will cause the other individual to pick or to do. He's going to make sure that it turns out favorably for where he's letting you go. Even though it wasn't even your choice. Go ahead.
Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto anger. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Adonai. Therefore, if your enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing, you shall heap coals of fire on his head.
Right. People don't even know that they have had hot coals of fire heaped on their head, receiving of an individual, and then go dogging them out right over there. Don't even know. You might as well just pour them hot coals right over your head. And it ain't like it's hidden somewhere. It's right here in the very book that we read. So I don't know what Israel think they're doing. Go ahead.
Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good.
All right, brother. Read the thing here on the next graphic.
1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 8. But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he has denied the faith and is worse than an infidel.
Now, you have to think about the part that was read in here in Romans 12, slothful in business. So when you slothful in business, you end up disturbing the peace, not just the peace and that you were supposed to be taking care of. When a man has a family, he now has a responsibility to do and take care of those things in the family. This is not just a situation of financial dealing. All right? There's a role that a woman is supposed to play in a life, and there's a role that a man is supposed to play in the upbringing of those children. Let me tell you something. If either one of them is missing, or if either one of them decide that they're not going to do their job, there's going to be a problem there with their upbringing. One way or another. What a woman is geared to do is not the same thing that a man is geared to do. Men don't deal with the same things that women deal with. Women can deal with 10, 12 little bitty things and keep all them things in the air without letting them hit the ground. They are keen on dealing with that. Men rather deal with these 3 big things over here. Let me make sure this is taken care of, and you take care of all of these. And each person is suited for that particular thing. You take that out of the scenario, now somebody has to do double duty. And now we have a situation. Read the things on the next graphic.
Father, from H1, Abba, a primitive word, father in a literal and immediate or figurative and remote application. Chief, for father, fatherless. Patrimony, principle. Compare names in Abby.
So when you deal with this father is the head of that situation. So when there's anything wrong, that thing is then going to fall right there upon that principal individual, because Yahweh's going to hold you responsible. Doesn't matter for whatever happened, whether it was the child, whether it was the wife, what if the dog did something. What a father. He just came home from work. What are you talking about? The dog got what? The dog got out. And bit who? Man. Come see the father. Because ultimately, all this lays on you. And this ain't my opinion. This is Yahweh's word. This is who he coming for. Do we understand that? Go to the next graphic, bro. I want y'all to see something here. Look at the next graphic. This right here, what you're looking at on this graphic, is my elder on this picture. The greatest example of work that I've ever seen. He worked to the point where he could not physically do his job anymore because he couldn't write his notes. He never used a computer. You know, we tried to give him a computer, and you know, he acted like the devil was in it. You know, he was a man that used his hands. When the cancer got there, he couldn't use his hands, and I knew he had worked until he couldn't work anymore. That was my best example of what to do when it comes down to work. You know, when people come in my office, this is on my office directly in front of my desk. When people see this pool stick, they say, man, Sock must be a pool shark. Man, that man got a pool stick mounted on his wall. What you're looking at is the only thing that my father ever gave me. I don't play pool at all. So what's on my wall is my best example and my worst example. I make sure I look at it every time I sit down, so I don't lose focus of what my direction is supposed to be. Now, ironically, now the dude I call SD, sperm donor, has now started calling me. What the hell you calling for? See, when the sun is setting on everybody else's life, and I keep telling people, let me tell you something. Do whatever. The things that you receive now are the result of the things that you did years ago. And if you want to change that of what happens, change what you're doing now, and you shall receive better in years to come. But all those that went around and they lived their life how they want to live their life, when it comes to the sun setting, now they want to change that outcome. And now we got I got an individual who has nowhere to go, no one to take care of him, and now they want to call my line. The hell you calling me for? Yahweh says in his book, go and seek them gods who you gave all your chief time to. Go to all those where you spent your money. Go there. We got folks running around, got kids in the word, but they running around driving, going from place to place and still talking about they in the word and they deal with Yahweh. Keep my God name out your mouth. Got kids walking around here that they don't even acknowledge. One minute they kids, the next minute they not. You're worse than an infidel. Stop riding around here telling people you know me and you in this word. You ain't in this damn word. As this word says, there's a man that sticks closer than a brother. My brothers are in this word. Who are my mother and my brother? My mother and my brother are the people that share in this word with me. You can't walk around here with no kufi on and ain't taking care of your damn kids talking about you in this word. No, the hell you ain't. Read, man. Where we going? Let's go to Psalms chapter 55. Keep my God name out your damn mouth. Last thing Israel needs is another sperm donor.
Psalms chapter 55 and verse 1. Give ear to my prayer, O Elohim, and hide not yourself from my supplication. Attend unto me, and hear me. I mourn in my complaint, and make a noise. Because of the voice of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked, for they cast lawlessness upon me, and in anger they hate me. My heart is sore plained within me, and the terrors of death are fallen upon me.
Right. When you speak the truth of Yahweh's word, what you gonna get is hatred from those who hate his word. And mark them. Because they are showing you that they are Yahweh's enemies. You ain't got to worry about and try to figure out who Yahweh's enemy is. Speak the word of Yahweh. Watch you get upset. Go ahead.
Fearfulness and trembling are come upon me, and horror has overwhelmed me. And I said, oh, that I had wings like a dove, for then would I fly away and be at rest. Lo, then would I wander far off and remain in the wilderness. I would hasten my escape from the windy storm and tempest. Destroy, O Adonai, and divide their tongues, for I have seen violence and strife in the city. Day and night they go about it upon the walls thereof. Mischief also and sorrow are in the midst of it. Wickedness is in the midst thereof. Deceit and guile depart not from her streets. For it was not an enemy that reproached me, then I could have borne it. Neither was it he that hated me that did magnify himself against me. Then would I have hid myself from him. But it was you, a man mine equal, my guide, and mine acquaintance. We took sweet counsel together, and walked onto the house of Elohim in company.
So you thought. See, some people are taking sweet counsel, and other people just listening to some words. They're not going to receive any of those words. They just listen with their ear. They don't listen with their heart. Go ahead.
Let death seize upon them, and let them go down quick into hell. For wickedness is in their dwellings and among them. As for me, I will call upon Elohim, and Yahweh shall save me. Evening and morning, and at noon I will pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. He has delivered my soul in peace from the battle that was against me, for there were many with me. Elohim shall hear and afflict them, even he that abides of old. Because they have no changes, therefore they fear not Elohim.
Right. It's one thing for the heathen to not fear Elohim. It's something for people who are supposed to be baptized in Yeshua's name to not fear Elohim at all. They don't care what they say or what they do. Go ahead.
He has put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He has broken his covenant.
He has broken the covenant of peace. There's an automatic covenant of peace between two individuals who don't even know each other. When you meet somebody on the street, there's a covenant of peace that's automatically there until somebody does something to break it. And when you destroy a covenant of peace, or you destroy a situation of truth within you, all that got to be rebuilt. You don't just destroy a trust relationship by lying and then automatically it goes back to where it was. No, you got to build that. And if you ain't about that action, go somewhere else. This is why some people jump from relationship to relationship. See, it is so much easier to just go get another lover than to fix the problems of what you have made. Because see, them people remember all the lies. Them people know about the lies that were told. And every small little lie, they call them white lies, every small little lie hacks at that truth building again. So this is why some people just want to go out and get another relationship. That way they can start new and act like, I don't know what happened in the past. Matter of fact, I snatched that rearview mirror off my car so I won't even see it. See? That way they can start and not have to acknowledge any of the things that were done in the past. This is what the new relationship does. So whenever you destroy that covenant of peace, whenever you destroy that covenant of truth, please don't think that that's just going to rebuild itself the next day. No, you're going to have to build that. And everything you do against it furthers the building of it 2 times the amount. Go ahead.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Cast your burden upon Yahweh, and he shall sustain you. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. But you, O Elohim, shall bring them down into the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days. But I will trust in you.
All right, let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 2.
You know, in that situation you just talking about, jumping from relationship to relationship, it's a big thing when you actually have to sit back and deal with collateral damage. And there's a lot of growth in it too.
On both parties, brother. See, it's one thing to have to look at the collateral damage that you have caused. See, then it causes you to actually feel what the other individual has gone through. See, you just jump up and run. That's our answer most of the time. Oh, I ain't too much problem here. Time to go. See, I can go down the street. They don't know nothing. I ain't got to deal with none of this. But when you have to deal with that collateral damage of the things that you have caused, see, and that's what we don't want to deal with. You know, as a person who's had to talk to people about relationship, it's very interesting when you let one person talk, because it's always the other person's fault.
I was just reading the Psalms, and you came in there.
Okay. All right. It's amazing until that other person started talking. Yeah, right. But each one of them tell the story now of them being in the right. It lets you know how the flesh is motivated to only see the things that are important to it. Understand, those people are not necessarily attempting to lie. It's just the overgrown selfishness of only paying attention to the things that concern them. They may not necessarily be trying to lie. They are just focused on their own troubles. So they didn't see where, you do understand that when you did this, you caused this person a problem. And you do understand when you did that you caused this person a problem.
Well, I didn't really see it like that.
Right. You just saw what upset you. Right. Selfishness. Go ahead.
My son, if you will receive my words and hide not my commandments with you, so that you incline your ear unto wisdom and apply your heart to understanding. Yes, if you crieth after knowledge and lift up your voice for understanding, If you seek her as silver, and searches for her as for hid treasures, then shall you understand the fear of Yahweh, and find the knowledge of Elohim. For Yahweh gives wisdom, out of his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. He keeps the paths of judgment, and preserveth the way of his saints.
If he preserved the way of his saints, that means he has to force their hand in a few things. See, when he preserves the way of his saints, they get ready to try to go left because they see something shining they want to go chase after, and he pushes them back on another path. And when you encounter that in your life, you'll be able to look back and say, man, I was forced into making this decision, and you realize that it was one of the best decisions that you didn't make. He preserves the way of his saints, even when they don't understand what he's doing. Go ahead.
Then shall you understand righteousness and judgment and equity, yes, every good path. When wisdom enters into your heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto your soul, discretion shall preserve you, understanding shall keep you.
Discretion shall preserve you and tell you, at this point you should probably stop talking. See, Yahweh gives you the things that are needful at the point that you need them. You don't need to remember the entire book. You just need to remember the parts that are needful for that particular situation. And there's some situations that Yahweh will give you the Spirit say, shut up, stop talking. That's where he gives you that discretion. You're going to hurt yourself. The more words you keep saying, this would be a good time to stop talking. I've been in the middle of situations and we're like, yeah. That little thing pop up. And you realize that your words, you searching for them, that's because he taking them. Shut up. But see, this is where pride and arrogancy kicks in, and now we try to find some words because ain't no words coming to us, and now we get all the wrong ones, and every word causes collateral damage. That's because he was trying to tell you to stop talking. Go ahead.
Verse 12, to deliver you from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaks froward things, who leave the paths of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice to do evil and delight in the frowardness of the wicked, whose ways are crooked, and they froward in their paths, to deliver you from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flatters with her words, which forsaketh the God of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her El. For her house inclines unto death, and her paths unto the dead. None that go unto her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life, that you may walk in the way of good men, and keep the paths of the righteous. For the upright shall dwell in the land, and the perfect shall remain in it. But the wicked shall be cut off from the earth, and the transgressors shall be rooted out of it.
Right. And understand something. The wicked don't have to consider any of this because the wicked have already convinced themselves that they are going to die and go to heaven. So they're not worrying about staying in the land. See, the redemption of the children of Israel was about Israel being returned unto their own land and all the nations living in their own house in peace. It says, for the upright shall dwell in the land, and the perfect shall remain in it. But the wicked shall be cut off from the earth. They think they leaving the earth to go to heaven. Yahweh said, I already gave you a paradise. All you need to do is clean it. And then once I bring the covenant of peace back to it, that land that's dry and barren is going to return as the Garden of Eden. And the whole time we're looking for something else. And everything that we need is right in front of us. But you got to fix it. You got to fix it. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.